trial day. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. How did the investigations go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to the trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Yo, that was kind of badass. Phoenix was kind of badass there. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. Yeah, no psychic Deus Ex Machina bullshit this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Rabble, 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 rabble.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth, we meet again. I haven't been in court since Edgeworth's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that the personal feelings will not be a part of today's proceedings, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment is to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statements, please.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime, a professional witness.
Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Really? Why not the security officer?
Haven't I seen you somewhere?
You ordered the caviar lunch, right?
Oh, caviar. Well, I've never eaten caviar before.
Judges, is he seriously just eating right now? And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir, did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste?
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.
The heck did... Come on! Name, profession, now. Me? Well, the name's Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us.
The prosecution will wait. Well, I'm not finished eating.
Hurry it up.
Yes. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
What? What exactly does that mean?
Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective.
Nani?
Miss Star was a detective? 2 years ago. 2 years ago seems to be the magic number here. 2 years ago, the 2 years ago, the Texan / LA Ranger, Mr. Marshall, was a detective. 2 years ago, she was a detective, and they seemed to know each other, which is also kind of intriguing. Now, also, 2 years ago happens to be the time of which the Goodman case happened that he interacted with Miss Lana Sky. There is definitely some hidden details here that they're foreshadowing for us. Let's, figure it out.
Aha! I know who you are. Cough up?
Cough up, Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Star.
Who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. I love getting the overhead maps. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A is for the prosecutor's office personnel, and Block B is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks.
I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes?
The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. But the car was still there. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor. Floor plans added.
Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star.
What are they talking about? Are they talking about me? All right, the witness's account. Time to cross-examine. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Well, perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. All right, so one thing we have going for us right now, guys. One thing we have going for us right now, guys, is that there are no prints on the knife. It says it right here, no prints. Now, that being said, as soon as I bring that up, she's probably going to say, oh, she was wearing gloves. But that is one definite contradiction we got so far.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching.
As you can see, there is no room for doubt.
The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
All right. You're going down, lady. You're going down. Somehow I always knew a day like this would always come. That sounds ominous as fuck. Especially considering that I personally suspect her. I want more information. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. Motives are becoming clear, lady. Listen, no wonder you got laid off. You're in courtroom just giving me the information I want. You're just serving it to me in a nice little bento lunchbox, girl. Cough up queen, coughing up the information. Jesus. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr.
I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. Now, if your boyfriend's a security guard, wouldn't he have been a witness? This boyfriend, he's a detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend. You have
several? Any openings?
Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for application.
I'll stick with the lunch, thanks.
Note to self. The judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Man, these guys are good detectives. Incidentally, did you bring your lunch boxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in block B, so she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Yeah, when I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. So tell me more about your detective-ship, I guess. You sensed something. So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder. It felt like, how would you say... Oh yes, it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
Literally no one has any idea what you mean by that.
Speaking of a detective's instincts, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
Young cheese.
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
I, of course, am hard yellowed, sharp as a tack.
I bet you stink, too. In any case, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife which the victim was stabbed with was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed, it was.
What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, but chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. Did you cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You'd think I'd show it to a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
Crime photo added to the record. This is unmistakably Lana Skye. Yeah, she's wearing her cool coat. Yeah. Let's get details. Can we look at the time this was taken exactly? I don't know. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Let's press here. This is where we can present evidence. Tell me more about this knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Give me 1 second, too. I need to check that picture real quick. Is she wearing gloves in it? Ah, she is, isn't she? Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Now we have corroborating evidence for the no prints. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, very well versed in the locations of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You saw her raise the knife and strike, no?
The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, Chief Prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Okay. For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. All right, I'm gonna try presenting the knife. Not gonna do anything. The music didn't stop. Shit! Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Really?
Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright.
Whoops! That didn't go so well. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. You sensed... Okay, there was one part where they dropped some orange text. Let's press here again. This boyfriend, he's the detective? The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. So the location of that room... Okay, so hold on. Looking at the map, how do you get from B block to A block? It's wired off completely. If she would have to go around and then back in like to here, right? It just feels like such a risky present, you know? Damn. Nothing. No good, man. No good. Let's just go through every piece right here. So somehow let's look at our evidence. When she took this picture, it was right before the crime. Okay, she just... Right before the crime. The moment of the crime is photographed by Angel Starr. But yeah, no, hold on. I don't see a knife in her hand. I don't see a body. I don't see any blood. It looks like she's just opening a trunk. That picture looks suspicious. What else do we got? We have the phone that called at 518. I don't think that means anything. The floor plans, she was somewhere over in B lot, but she could see the A lot. That's undisputable because of the picture, I guess. This note, which has no bearing on the current stuff because these numbers mean nothing to us. The autopsy report, which tells us the time of death was between 4 and 5:30, which is also suspicious, by the way. A 12-centimeter knife, but, like, she just made an estimate. She doesn't need to know the 2-centimeter difference. The blue badger means nothing. The parking stub Makes sense. 512, yeah. The knife, no prints, we already tried that. The trophy means nothing to us. Goodman's ID has his number on it. That's it. So I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. From A lot, the picture would have to be from the other side. Yeah, in B lot, but she was there visiting her boyfriend in A lot. But you gotta assume it was just when she was going back to her car, because there was 2 points where she was definitely in B lot. When she was in her car, and when she was leaving her car, and when she was getting back to her car, because she had to park there. She's not allowed to park in A, and I don't think she lied about it. Thrust the pointy knife into the tip of the Detective Goodman's chest, but yeah, we don't see a knife in this picture. This is my best... Oh, thank God. Objection! And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
Oh, that sure looks like a fine lunch.
But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph.
This is the photograph you took the very moment of the crime. Is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife?
Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts?
Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that needs to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean?
Mr. Edgeworth?
This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. It was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? Oh, I didn't see that. It's a black and white photograph.
Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood.
Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you gonna just sit there and take this kind of abuse? You got a better idea? What do I do? Objection, whatever. Wait a minute, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. You don't like it? Try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Lady's really passionate about her lunch. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold and calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph.
Well, are those gloves?
Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Now, why on earth would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves.
Those gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder, a serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. So I gotta have something here. I gotta have something about this, don't I? Yeah, I hope. The victim's memo. Let's just press it, I guess, for now. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, the kind used for autopsy. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. the only possible conclusion one can come to. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Oh, I bet so. I bet you premeditated it.
Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Star.
This is bad. She's got them thinking it was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't. It's only a flesh wound! Alright, I definitely have to prove... Why aren't the gloves as submitted as evidence for me? Why can't I investigate these gloves? No, I didn't mean to go that far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the ID card, no. The trophy, probably not. The knife, maybe. So the knife is the knife is Edgeworth's car's knife, which seems weird, but you know what? She could have planned to use it, so like that doesn't dispute that. This parking stub, I don't know, it doesn't really dispute it as far as I can tell. The blue badger, no. The autopsy report, the 12 versus 10 centimeter thing does still strike me as odd. Yeah. Nice. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell boxed lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. That's the knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed. It is my knife.
Look, there's a case! The bloody murder weapon. A red car. All the line of the prosecutor there. The defendant was the chief prosecutor of the justice, right? Mommy, a prosecutor's bad people.
The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves.
Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning.
However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't go forgetting the damn weapon. That's right.
I will have order in my courtroom.
Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Ah, good show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Oh, right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. Nani? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole. This shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care about that is the lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If she wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again.
Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. All right, Angel's deduction. What do we got? Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Ha ha! Gotcha, lady. We got real quick evidence right here. I swear, they gave that one to us for free. Due to one, count it, one knife wound. Autopsy report is our decisive proof here. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Oh, you fucking bet I'm gonna. You bet your booty I'm cross-examining. Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. Let's press right here. Let's get some more info, though. You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there. You have no proof that she didn't.
Mr. Edgeworth's thoughts?
There is no recorded call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's cell phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered.
And I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness,
Why do you think it was... Oh,
why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day?
I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See, we agree that there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels, don't you agree? Oh my god.
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your bias for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction. Please, Mr. Wright. Can't you find fault with something of substance? Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's sighs smell of citrus fruit. You say again and again, how many times did she stab him exactly? We often say, chop into 1,000 pieces. But we don't actually mean 1,000. What difference does it make when the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people. I do have an objection. That short wick burns out the fastest, right? It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax. Oh, come on, stop talking about candles. I'm trying to prove someone innocent here. Again and again. Miss Lana Skye. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again? But you couldn't have witnessed that! Are you testing me, boy? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise! I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to loss of blood from one stab wound.
Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk! Oh, he's my hero. Come on, it was my objection.
Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood, but now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you thought. Tell us what you saw that you thought was the blood. Testify. Come on. her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. She said again and again and again, you don't make a mistake with that motion. You may see like, oh, look, there's some red on a shirt. But you see someone go like, yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I mean? That's not something you just forget. It's not something that you're just like, oh yes, no, she had ketchup on her shirt. She was wearing a red scarf that day. The hell do I do about this? Let's press. I guess. I don't know. Her red muffler? Yeah, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. Miss Sky was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait a minute. Isn't it odd that you mistook that for spattered blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
A judge with a bib? That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. No, it feels like kangaroo court. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance! Chance for what, I wonder? She's turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities really set her off. Okay, so you gotta just... Enough of this candle business. There's gotta be something I can present right here. Bum, 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 bum. What's on this? She's not wearing her scarf! Look at that! She's not wearing it! Aww. You cheeky little... Aw, nice. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler or any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. With this photograph! But that can't be! Only a true professional could be so... clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady, have no fear.
Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What? What? I was the objector! But it was there! A scarf, no, not really, but something red, really! Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but now back to business. What? Very well, witness.
Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. Most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim? This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Ba-ching! After the murder, the suspect attempted to make a run behind the partition off to the side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. She was behind a wired fence.
You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Attorney Wright gets bitten by snake. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, knocked over an oil drum. Oh, oil drum? To imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will.
Apprehending the suspect. Alright, this is all bullshit. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to the side. Let's press. So, where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her and explained her rights to her and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. Yeah, let's keep pressing. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor. Thus, she was parked in Block B. So you witnessed the murder from here?
Why, that would make it about 30 feet from the car. Yes.
Now, is this correct, Miss Starr? Yeah. That's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you?
I went over it, of course.
Amazing! The cough-up queen, lunch lady athlete indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. She couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. Interesting. Okay, so she mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word?
So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? You mean the cell phone? But the only person she called was her sister, and she hung up immediately. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the scene of the crime? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory, it's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court does not see.
The chief prosecutors first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall?
That's true. That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone?
Indeed. The emergency phone was out of order on that day.
Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing? Really, Judge? Really, dude?
You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please the rookie defense attorney. Cell phone updated in the court record. So what was the cell phone updated with? Very pressing. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say it this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but resistance against Angel is futile. So, hold on. She made to escape? Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a plate of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum?
There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way?
Yes, the car entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run, huh? I'm sorry my sister's so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You gotta believe me. You gotta believe me. You can't believe it. Okay, so we're back at the start of the testimony. Use the phone on the wall. All right, here's the thing, though. She said she ran after all that, right? She literally was just saying, like, yo, I ran to catch her after she failed making a phone call behind the wall. But this thing's behind a wall. She couldn't have seen that, right? Yes! I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge for Miss Lana Sky.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought that you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Oh! Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony, and how do you explain this? Why, I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Wright. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. Now, however, if that's true, you couldn't have possibly seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the backside of the partition. If, indeed, you were in Block B, well, you couldn't have seen it. Nani? Order!
What is the meaning of this? It is simple.
It is simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Now that's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. She lied about what she saw, where she saw it, the order of events. What she saw, she didn't see a lot of this stuff, for sure. She lied about what she saw, in other words. She didn't see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It does seem hard to imagine how illogical she could have.
It does seem hard to imagine how she could have. Very logical.
I heard you laughing at the puns from the other room.
It does seem hard to imagine how she could have. Very logical.
What's the matter, Star? Cat got your lunchbox. Jesus Christ. But why would Miss Star lie like that? Huh? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? It doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? Oh. I mean, maybe she really did see her trying to use the emergency phone. I see no room for doubt there. You ordered the patooey on rice, right? Mr. Wright! And I thought you had something there. What the fuck? You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Tell us exactly what lie the witnesses told the court. But... Where she saw it then? That's the only other thing it could be. She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is the significance about this fact? Nothing. It would be pointless for her to lie about it.
Pointless to lie? I see.
The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. You know what? That's right. This all makes sense because she lied about being in Part B. There's no way she climbed that fence. I should have clicked into that. In other words, Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. I feel like it has to be the security room because she was visiting her boyfriend, but the picture she took is from over here. That's the suspicious part, but I don't know. This is the only place where she could have been.
The security guard room?
Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second level so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness not being part of the prosecutor's office couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is... Remember in your testimony, you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Star, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has gotten the better of Miss Angel Star.
I will have order, witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, does this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It makes no sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells it all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. But one thing doesn't, Mr. Edgeworth. Nani? If a witness is found lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without good reason.
So, tell us what the reason was, Mr. Wright.
What, me? Well, who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Star witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from Block B. It must make a vital difference, but what would it change? What would it change? Angle of view to the crime? Distance to the crime? Difference in... Not difference in lighting. That's dumb. That's my go-to. Why? The angle at which she would view the crime would change.
The angle? What do you mean?
Phoenix isn't too confident in this. The security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of a 3D view of the crime.
And this is important. Why?
Shit. That's the last one. The distance, then. Because it's definitely not difference in lighting. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. All right, yes. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in the question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from a security guard station, did you not? Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky, huh? Right. That's right. Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? I was bringing a PB&J with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Oh ho ho, boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited, and I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. You're kidding. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking lot in Block B.
Why, that's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes?
Then why'd she lie?
This changes things considerably. But it was that
woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him, and I know it. I have a photograph of evidence. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point.
And a spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch, Mr. Judge?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? I have so much evidence to stop this. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You can make a pasta in that amount of time. If you'd like it al dente. What does that mean? I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. This lunchbox gimmick is old. A 5-minute blank? Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. What? Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
Judge is the dumbest. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. This was different. Miss Sky dwaddled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. We got her.
Well then, it seems we're coming to the end of the testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant, and there is a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated the witness on account of her professional history. Ah, yes, we did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close, though.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Hold it! Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels as well, right? Once you tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have a decisive evidence. What was that? Is that another one of her trick lunch boxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Fine. You lying, Mamma Jamma. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woo-hoo! A triple-decker. Out of deference to the witness's determination and,
Delicious. delicious lunch. I'm gonna allow one more testimony.
Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Alrighty, looks like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. Going on? What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime. Yeah, you think? And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood. This shoe proves it. Flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Objection!
Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've ever heard of this evidence? Well, it's simple. I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You should know that You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. We have broken that rule at least 100 times. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. And as I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of, well, today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. It seems Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding.
It appears that this evidence satisfies the first law of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another court against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are promptly judged. All right, let's investigate this evidence.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Not before I examine a little bit of this victim's shoe. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Sky. Examine. This blood. My sister's, right? Here's so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. And then blood puddle. Oh, there's blood here too. Sole of the shoe? Gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. Blood, it's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. I bet it's an important clue. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the scene of the crime. Yeah, you should have. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes anyway? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranging testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it?
False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're gonna submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. She got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. It makes sense, after all. A man was stabbed here. And the blood belonging to the victim, Detective Goodman? As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoes. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Is it, though? I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, right? Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. What's wrong with the victim's shoe? I think there's a problem with this shoe. Let's look at it again real quick. It has a lot of his blood on the ground, but he wouldn't have done any stepping. I don't know, man. It just seems sketchy. You know, it just seems sketchy. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is the contradiction about this victim's shoe?
All right, show us the problem with it. I gotta say it's the bottom, man. The only thing.
Take that!
I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Shit. Not a lot of blood on the knife, but I don't think that's it. Parking stub? No. There's no blood on the floor here that you can see, at least. That might be it. At least so far. You don't even see a body in this picture. After the crime was committed. Yeah, this seems the most likely to me. What else do I got? The cell phone? No. The parking lot floor plans? Let's check them. Nothing in there. Yeah, I gotta say it's the crime photo. The problem lies in the footprint. Footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints left by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the crime scene. That contradicts your claim about this shoe! This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody footprints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order! Order in my courtroom! Well, witness.
What, huh? Whoa. Great going, Mr. Wright. It's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh.
That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think! I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. What? Our witness is more devious than I give her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about, Edgeworth?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside and kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that's? I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth, though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What's that mean? Still don't get it right. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha!
You don't mean...
Yes. The suspect knocked over the oil drum for only one reason. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. What?
That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So my sister's blood on the shoe, that's when it happened? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! Listen, your sister has confessed to the crime, and she's tried to confess it. Enough. There is no need for further debate, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
Hold it! Little girl, what did you just say? Me? Did you just say that Angel Star, was on the prosecutor's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you had your fill. But here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
What? Witness, don't tell me you have something else.
Oh my god. You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen, Miles. Look at this. A photograph?
A photograph? Oh,
I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Wait, look at the asphalt in this photo. Hold on, it's clearly wet.
Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind, immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. Is that evidence in the record? And it seemed this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right? Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. How is she talking to me? Maya's not here. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence?
Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Not so fast, Your Honor! What is it with you people?
Can't I hand down my verdict in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No! No, it's gonna be too late then! Look at this.
Look at this photograph.
The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right? Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah! Well, think later. There's a problem? Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose we've come this far. We should give every claim a fair shake. Well, Mr. Wright?
Show the court the problem with this photograph.
All right, knife wound in his chest, that's not an issue. Water on the ground, shoe is off the water so it would retain the blood. What's going on here? You guys see that? What's in the muffler? Is that it? What is that? The problem in this photograph, Your Honor, is right here. Nani? There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Well, hold on. Wait just a minute, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor, you just said
muffler.
However, I see no trace of a muffler or...
I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph.
The muffler in the muffler! My God, a muffler is also part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe.
I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with the case? Absolutely nothing! I don't know. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not gonna be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Now, Mr. Wright, let's hear what you have on your mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case.
Oh, man. Why is it related to the case? Why is the muffler related to the... Oh, wait. The word muffler was heard over a call made at 5:18. Oh. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the word muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Getting into character, guys. Just getting into character. Well, it seems we
have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any questions unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Having that car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew. That was close, but we made it, at least for now.
The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. Whew. It is lunchtime, after all.
This guy ate like 8 lunches during this court session. To be continued. So we did it for now, I guess. Awesome. Sweet. God, this is the first time we're gonna have 2 back-to-back trials after a save point, I think, ever. I hope I get my exclamation marks back. That'd be sweet. Man, this case is awesome. If only the judge's appetite for justice was as strong as his appetite for bento boxes. Come on, Judge. We need you.